Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome. Good afternoon. Welcome to the finale session of our AWS Solutions Architect Bootcamp, right? So we've been through quite a few sessions so far. I think approximately about 14 sessions. We've covered a lot of technical talks in terms of everything that you need for the certification. And we've come to that final stage where we're going to try to see if all of you who have actually attended our sessions have been paying any attention or not. Because we do have a few exciting programs lined up for you today, including some quiz sessions. We do have some question walkthroughs. We'll have some tips and tricks on how you can go ahead with the certification. And of course, a few of you who have been following us throughout the journey for this boot camp, a few of you deserve some special prizes, including some vouchers. So we'll come to that towards the end of our session. So stay tuned for the
Deserve
next hour or hour and a half, and we have a good one lined up for you. And I would like to start off by calling on Rohini, who's from AWS, and she's a senior developer advocate at AWS, and she's going to walk us through the tips and tricks that you will need in order to pass your certification.
Awesome.
Over to you,
Thanks so
Rohini.
much, Faisal. So thanks for sharing the screen. Thank you everyone for joining. It's exciting. It's the last episode of the entire series. And finally, we are hoping you, like Faisal mentioned, you've gone through all these episodes and you're ready for today's session. So I'll begin with tips and tricks because I want to give a little bit of tricks of how you can pass this exam. I've given the professional like 3 times already, and it's again at renewal. So hopefully I will be able to do justice to the section. So the first and foremost, obviously read the question thoroughly. Make sure you have lots of coffee or tea or whatever gives you that energy and boost, and pick a time of the day that you are more alert for the examination, right? Don't, if you're not a morning person, don't book the exam in the morning. Obviously, you're going to be sleepy. So read the questions thoroughly. A lot of times, in the question itself, you'll find keywords. Like in my last session, I mentioned if you see cost, like they're asking you, uh, how would you save cost here, or how would you make this more scalable, or how would you do something something, right? So make sure that you are reading those keywords and you're reading the question thoroughly. Sometimes the questions are long, so try to understand what is it that they're asking, what is it that you're supposed to answer. And that goes to the tip number two. Try to get the answer while you're reading the question itself. Sometimes a lot of people go to the choices and then get super confused of what was happening, what they had thought about the answer. So try to get to the answer while you're reading the question so that you don't confuse yourself, and then you go and check out the choices. And if you see that there is some minor discrepancies in between the choices, eliminate the ones that you don't need, and then try to figure out, okay, between these two, what is the change, what is the difference? We all have done those games in the when we were young, like find the difference in these two images. Similar like that, try to find the difference between the options that you've finally come to. So eliminate your answers that first of all don't fit your primary thought, and then between the twos, like you take like KBC 50-50 choice and you try to figure out which one fits it, right? Then don't spend too much time on each question. You have 65 questions and 130 minutes. If you do the math, it's 2 minutes each question, right? And that includes reading the question, selecting the answers from that question, right? And sometimes the questions can be a bit longer. So don't spend too much time if you're like, oh, I don't know this answer, or it's not clicking to me in the first minute or so. Just do one thing, mark it. There is a section where you can flag it, or you can click saying mark it for review, so that select some answer which makes sense. You would say, okay, this seems a little closer, or I just want to do eeny meeny miny mo and get an answer. Mark the answer, mark it as for review, and move on, because there is no negative marking. So if you get a question wrong, you're not going to lose marks, right? But if you don't attempt questions, then you're not getting those marks. So always try to answer all the questions that are in the exam, right? So for that, you should make sure that you have marked some answer which matches to what you were thinking, or if you're thinking like, just do any mini miny mo and mark an answer. But make sure you flag that answer. So what happens is within a minute or 1.5, what happens is if you try to follow this logic, some questions are super easy. So within 30 seconds, you're like, I know this answer, I'm just going to click this and move on. So you'll save that 1.5 minute. But some questions you need to use a lot of your brain power. So if you mark those for review, answer all your questions, then you come back to the questions where you have marked them for review, and then you review them. Then you know that, okay, out of that a time that is allocated, I have maybe 40% time left to now sit and think about these questions where I was not really confident, and I need to think about it a bit, or I need to be a little bit more investigative with what is it that they are saying in this question. And a lot of times, you would also realize that sometimes you may find the answer to your question in some another question in the exam, right? So make sure you attempt all questions, don't leave out any question. Mark some answer for it, even if you're not sure, and mark it for review. Come back to it. You, if you follow this strategy, I am very sure you will have enough time left for you to come back and answer all the questions. And because of the current situation, we are doing it from home. So if you have an exam that you have scheduled, please make sure, like, don't just say ki, okay, these are 130 minutes, so I'll set up my office meetings just at that strict time. Just a suggestion, keep some time like 30 minutes, 60 minutes before the exam, and little buffer even after the exam, because we don't know, there could be internet issues, there could be issues with the proctoring app itself, or there needs to be a setup done, right? They have to see where you're sitting and what are the resources that you're using. So definitely spend that time. Keep an extra buffer. I've seen a lot of people struggle with not keeping extra buffer. Have a good internet connectivity. A lot of times people don't have good internet connectivity. So make sure you're in an area where you have good internet connectivity and you don't have too many people going to be disturbing you for that time. So have a lot of coffee and then follow these six and some additional ones that I've given. And let's go to the next slide. The next slide is definitely about the certification journey. Now, a lot of people have this misconception that if they want to give the professional exam, they have to give the associate. We don't have that requirement anymore. You can directly give your professional examination, but the okay, so if I have to explain how do you flow through this, right? So if you're very new to cloud computing, or you are someone who's into sales and marketing and want to get knowledge of what cloud computing is and how do I get started with the whole idea of cloud, right? Go for cloud practitioner examination, prepare content that is for cloud practitioner examination. If you are someone in IT, if you are someone who's been working in technology for a while and understands a little bit of these concepts, but want to understand what it means in the cloud terminology, go for associate examinations. Don't spend unnecessary money for practitioner because you are at another level, that is associate. And then once you feel that you've worked for a few years and you have enough hands on and you have worked on enough architectures and you want to show your skills, go for the professional level certifications. And if you are someone that who's a specialist, right? Like some of you may be specialist in so networking and security, and there are so many more specialty exams that AWS is coming up with now. You can also directly go and get yourself certified for the specialty exams. You don't have to have foundational or the associate or the professional certifications if you want to do the specialty exam. So figure out what do you want to do. If you go to the AWS certification page, there is a proper learning path for different roles, and if you want to get into different certifications, there are proper learning paths and roadmaps, ramp up times, ramp up guides written for you. So do check out AWS certification. And if you have any question, our user groups are doing beautiful work of giving you this knowledge for free so that you all can get certified. So feel free to do that and shout out for all the awesome work these have been doing. So with that, I am going to hand over the session to Yashasvi for the next topic. Thank you so much. I will be around for any questions if you have. Over to you, Yashasvi.
Hey, Yashasvi, are you on? Can you hear us?
Even I was on mute.
Sorry, I think our Chrome got crashed. Just give us a minute or so. I think
No
we'll
worries.
see.
Sure, sure.
Just give us a minute. I think she'll be back. In meantime, please, guys, if you have any questions, queries about certification, about anything with related to certifications, maybe not associate, solution architect associate, even professional, please post in the chat. We have experts here, and I think she'll be more than happy to answer any questions. So please take this opportunity.
There are many more experts here as well. So yes, thank you, Dora. Good to see you as well. I see Smiha as well joining in from UK. Okay, that must be early morning. Thank you for that kind words, man. Anyone else who have questions? I know Sanchita has done so many certifications. Come on, he's the expert here. He's done so many certifications than I have, and we're just waiting for Yashasvi to come back. So meanwhile, if you have questions, we are there in the chat section. Ooh.
Yeah, Yashashvi, I think we can share, see a screen now.
Okay, so very good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shashvi Tiwari, and it's time to play a quiz. So, first of all, I will explain you the rules and regulation for the quiz. So, please log in. Wait a minute.
Yashashvi, you can go ahead. The instructions are on my screen. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay, so everyone, please enter the game pin 7352520 and log in into kahoot.it. And first of all, make sure that please enter your actual name or the real name. No need of nickname or something. I repeat, the game pin is 7352520. Okay, so I'm seeing that two people are joining, Shri and Rama Krishna. I'm waiting for others also. Let's wait 5 minutes. Daksh is also joining. Rohan is joined. Venu, Madhvi. Let's wait for a few minutes, then we start the quiz. Guys, the game pin is 7352520. Please enter your real name, not the nickname. I see 11 people here.
I think Yashasvi, we should start. We have 12 people, so I think 3 minutes
Okay.
and we'll let's start.
Okay. All the best, everyone. Let's start the quiz. Let me share the questions. So here's the first question. A company storing an access key ID and secret access key in a text file on a custom AMI. The company uses the access key to access DynamoDB tables from instances created from the AMI. The security team has mandated a more secure solution. Which solution will meet the security team's mandate? Option A, put the access key in an S3 bucket and retrieve the access key on boot from the instance. Option B, pass the access key to the instance through instance user data. Obtain the access key from a key server launched in a private subnet option, and this is the option C. And option D is create an IMA role with permission to access the table and launch all the instances with the new role.
Yashasvi, after you start the timer on Kahoot, can you just switch back to the question screen itself so that others can read it?
Sure.
Can you just make it full screen? Okay, I think the time is up on that one. Previous one.
Let's see the dashboard. Okay, so 6 people give the right answer. Venu Madhavi is on top. Rohan is second. Shri is third, Harish is in fourth, and Rushikesh is in fifth. Okay. Congratulations, Venu Madhavi, you are on the top. Next question. Yeah, so second question is, a company is developing a highly available web application using stateless web servers. Which services are the suitable for storing session state data? Select any two options like option A, CloudWatch, option B, DynamoDB, option C, Elastic Load Balancing, and option D, B and C both. The right answer is B and C both. 5 people give the right answer. Let's see the dashboard. Okay, so now Rohan is on the top. Second, Dora. Third is Venu Madhvi. Fourth is Shri. And the fifth is Harish. Congratulations, Rohan. Okay, so next question is, a company's salespeople upload their sales figures daily. A solution architect need a durable storage solution for these documents that also protect against user accidentally deleting important documents. Which action will protect against unintended user actions? Option A, store data in EBS volume and create snapshot once a week. Option B, store data in a S3 bucket and enable versioning. Option C, store data in two S3 bucket in different AWS regions. Option D, store data on EC2 instance storage. Red for A, blue for B, C for yellow, and green for D. I'm seeing that 10 people are give the answer and 8 people give the right answer. Let's see who is on the top.
Yashasvi,
Yeah. So Rohan is on the top, Dora is second, Venu Madhvi is third, Shri is fourth, and Rushikesh is on fifth.
Yashasvi, don't start the timer before asking the question. Please start the timer only after you ask the question.
Okay. Okay. So here's the fourth question. An application requires a highly available relational database with an initial storage capacity of 8 TB. The database will grow by 8 GB every day. To support expected traffic, at least 8 read replicas will be required to handle database reads. Which option will meet these requirements? Option A, DynamoDB. Option B, Amazon S3. Option C, Amazon Aurora. Option D, Amazon Redshift. Here is the fourth question. And these are the options. Okay, 11 people give the right answer. Let's see. Still, Rohan is on the top. Venu is second, Dora third, Shri fourth, and Rushikesh is on fifth. Coming to the next question. Question fifth is, a solution architect is a designing a critical business application with a relational database that runs on an EC2 instance. It requires a single EBS volume that can support up to 1600 IOPS, 16,000 IOPS, which Amazon EBS volume type can meet the performance requirements of this application. Option A, EBS provisioned IOPS SSD. Option B, EBS throughput optimized HDD. Option C, EBS general purpose SSD. Option D, EBS cold HDD. So let's start. Here's the question. Okay, so 5 people give the right answer. Let's see. Now it's Dora is in top, Rohan is in second, Rushikesh third, Smeha fourth, and Ramakrishna fifth. Coming to the next question. Question number 6. A web application allows customer to upload order to an S3 bucket. The resulting Amazon S3 events trigger a Lambda function that insert a message to an SQS queue. A single EC2 instant reads messages from the queue, processes them, and stores them in a DynamoDB table, partitioned by a unique order ID. Next month, traffic is expected to increase by a factor of 10, and a solution architect is reviewing the architecture for possible scaling problem. Which component is most likely to need re-architecting to be able to scale to accommodate the new traffic? Option A, Lambda function. Option B, SQS queue. Option C, EC2 instance. And option D, DynamoDB table. So let's start. Here the question. Okay, so red for option A, blue for B, and yellow for C, and green for D. Okay, so 4 people give the right answer. Let's see. Smiha is on the top. Harish is on second. Venu Madhvi third. Dora fourth. And Rohan is fifth.
Yashash,
Congratulations, Smiha.
your screen stopped sharing. Can you get it again, please?
Okay, wait. Now it's sharing.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the dashboard for this question. Question number 6. Let's play the next one. So question number 7 is an application saves the logs to an S3 bucket. A user wants to keep the logs for 1 month for troubleshooting purposes and then perk the logs. What feature will enable this? Option A, adding a bucket policy on the S3 bucket. Option B, configuring lifecycle configuration rules on the S3 bucket. Option C, creating an IAMA policy for the S3 bucket. And option D, enabling CORS on the S3 bucket. Let's play. Here's the question. Okay, let's see the dashboard. 9 people give the right answer. Again, it's Smiha on the top, Harish second, Venu third, Rohan fourth, and Dora is in fifth. Congratulations, Smiha. So, coming to the next question, question number 8. An application running on EC2 instances processes sensitive information stored on Amazon S3. The information is accessed over the internet. The security team is concerned that the internet connectivity to Amazon S3 is a security risk. Which solution will resolve the security concern? Option A, access the data through an internet gateway. Option B, access the data through a VPN connection. Option C, access the data through a net gateway. Option D, access the data through a VPC endpoint for Amazon S3. Let's start. Here's the question. Select any one answer, one correct answer in these 4 options. Okay, I think let's see. So correct answer is option D, and 7 people give the right answer. Still, it's Smiha on the top, then Venu, then Rohan, then Dora, then Rushikesh. Congratulations, Smiha. Coming to the next question, question number 9th, and the question is an organization is building an Amazon Redshift cluster in their shared services VPC. The cluster will host sensitive data. How can the organization control which network can access the cluster? Option A is run the cluster in a different VPC and connect through VPC peering. Option B, create a database user inside the Amazon Redshift cluster only for users on the network. Option C, define a cluster security group for the cluster that allow access for the allowed network. And option D, only access to network that connect with the shared services network via VPN. So let's start. This is the question. You have to select one answer in these 4 options. Okay, so 6 people give the right answer. Let's see. Okay, Smiha on the top, Venu Madhavi second, Rohan third, Dora Chaudhary fourth, and Rushikesh is fifth. Okay, congratulations, Smiha, again. Now, coming to the next question, which is question number 10. And the question is a solution architect is designing an online shopping application running in a VPC on EC2 instances behind an ELB application load balancer. The instances run in an auto scaling group across multiple availability zones. The application tier must read and write data to a customer managed database cluster. There should be no access to the database from the internet, but the cluster must be able to obtain software patches from the internet. Which VPC design meets these requirements? Option A, public subnet for the both application tier and the database cluster. Option B, public subnet for the application tier and private subnet for the database cluster. Option C, public subnet for the application tier and NAT gateway and private subnet for the database cluster. Option D, public subnet for the application tier and private subnet for the database cluster NAT gateway. Let's start. Here's the question. You have to select one answer in these 4 options. Let's see the dashboard. Okay, so Smiha is on the top, Venu second, Rohan third, Rushikesh fourth, and Dora is fifth. Okay. Now coming to the next question. The question is a solution architect is designing a solution to run a containerized web application by using Amazon Elastic Container Service, Amazon ECS. The solution architect want to minimize cost by running multiple copies of a task on each container instance. The number of task copies must scale as a load increases and decreases, while routing solution distributes the load to the multiple tasks. Option A, configure an application load balancer to distribute the request by using path-based routing. Option B, configure an application load balancer to distribute the request by using dynamic host port mapping. Option C, configure an Amazon route 53 alias record set to distribute the request with a failover routing policy. Option D, configure an Amazon route 53 alias record to set to distribute the request with a weighted routing policy. Let's start. Here's the question. You have to select one correct answer in these 4 options. Okay, so let's check the dashboard. So the correct answer is B. 7 people give the right answer. Okay, so now Venu Madhvi is on top, Rohan second, Smiha third, Dora fourth, and Rushikesh fifth. Okay, so coming to the next question. Question number 12. The usage of a company's image processing application is increasing suddenly with no set pattern. The application's processing time grows linearly with the size of the image. The processing can take up to 20 minutes for a large image files. The architecture consists of a web tier, an Amazon Simple Queue service, Amazon SQS, standard queue, and message consumer that process the image on Amazon EC2 instances. When a high volume of requests occur, the message backlog in Amazon SQS increases. Users are reporting the delays in processing. Thus, a solution architect must improve the performance of the application in compliance with cloud best practices. Which solution will meet these requirements? Option A, purchase enough dedicated instances to meet the peak demand, deploy the instances for the consumer. Option B, convert the existing SQS standard queue to an SQS FIFO queue, increase the visibility timeout. Configure a scalable AWS Lambda function as the consumer of the SQS messages. And last option D, create a message consumer that is an auto scaling group of instances. Configure the auto scaling group to scale based upon the approximate number of messages Amazon CloudWatch metric. So let's start. Here's the question. These are the options. You have to select any one right answer. Okay, so let's see the dashboard. But first of all, I will tell the right answer. The right answer is option D. Okay, so here Venu Madhvi is in top, Rohan second, Smiha third, Rushikesh fourth, and Dora Chaudhary is in fifth. Congratulations, Venu. Coming to the next question, which is question number 13. A company used Amazon EC2 Spot instances for a demonstration that is now complete. A solution architect must remove the Spot instances to stop them from incurring cost. What should the solution architect do to meet this requirement? Option A, cancel the Spot request only. Option B, terminate the Spot instances only. Option C, cancel the Spot request, terminate the Spot instances. Option D, terminate the Spot instances, cancel the Spot request. Let's start. Here's the question number 13. These are the options. You have to select any one answer. Okay. Okay, so the correct answer is option C, and 6 people give the right answer. Let's see the dashboard. So here Venu Madhavi is in first, Rohan second, Rushikesh third, Smiha fourth, and Shri fifth. Congratulations, Venu. Okay, so coming to the next question, which is question number 14. A company needs to look up configuration details about how a Linux-based Amazon EC2 instance was launched. Which command should a solution architect run on the EC2 instance to gather the system metadata? So this is the option A, curl, and here's the some link. And B, option B is this, option C is this, and option D is this, which is showing in the screen right now. So let's start. Here's the question, and you have to select one answer in these 4 options. Okay, so the right answer is option A, and 4 people give the right answer. Let's see. Okay, it's Venu Madhvi is in top, Rohan second, Smiha third, Rushikesh fourth, and Shri fifth. Okay, congratulations, Venu, once again. So our last question is question number 15, and coming to this question, which tells that that a company has an on-premises application that export log files about users of a website. These log files range from 20 GB to 30 GB in a size. A solution architect has created an Amazon S3 bucket to store these files. The files will be uploaded directly from the application. The network connection experiences intermittent failures and the upload sometimes fails. A solution architect must design a solution that resolves this problem. The solution must minimize operational overhead. Which solution will meet these requirements? So here are the options. Option A, enable S3 transfer acceleration. Option B, copy the files to an Amazon EC2 instance in the closest AWS region. Use S3 lifecycle policies to copy the log files to Amazon S3. Option C, use multi-part upload to Amazon S3. And option D, upload the files to 2 AWS regions simultaneously, enables 2 ways cross-region replication between the 2 regions. So let's start the. So here's the question. These are the options. You have to select one correct answer in these 4 options. So it's our last question. Then we will see the final dashboard. Okay, so the right answer is option C, and 6 people give the right answer. Let's see the dashboard. Okay, so Smiha is third, Venu Madhvi second. Oh, Rohan is first. And Rushikesh and Shri are runner-up. Rohan, congratulations. Venu Madhvi, congratulations. And Smiha, congratulations to you too.
Thank you, Yashashvi. That was really wonderful. Thank you so much for running this 15 question. I know it's not was an easy job, right? Just going, explaining each questions and conducting it. Thank you so much. And yeah, it was really wonderful. We'll put you to the backstage and we'll move on with the next session. Okay. Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And congratulations, all the winners.
Cool. So yeah, I think we had a wonderful time going through all the 15 questions. Hopefully we try to help you to understand how exactly it is, right? I mean, we try to make it more gamify for you guys to make it like an interesting one. But now let's understand the meat of all these questions, right? So what we'll do is we've picked up the best 5 questions which we feel were very important. Rohini, Faisal, and I'll go through and explain you how exactly the tips and tricks what Rohini explained in the first slide, how we can apply on this 5 questions. So you really understand that game quiz on another side, but when you're sitting in a real exam, if this is a question on your screen, how could you have answered this question? What would be your logic and thought process, right? So I've picked up the 5 questions out of it. The question 1 is on the screen. Again, there's no quiz, so don't worry about it. You can take your own time to read it. But yeah, a solution architect is designing a solution to run a containerized web application by using Amazon ECS. The solution architects want to minimize the cost by running multiple copies of task on each container instance. The number of task copies must scale as the load increases and decreases. Which routing solution distributes the load to the multiple task? Okay, so if we go to all the 6 tips which were given at the beginning by Rohini, right? The first thing was read the question, which I have done. I didn't look into the options. I try to read the questions, right? When you're in the game or the quiz mode, there's a different thing, but always try to first go through the questions and understand. So if you understand the question, the second thing, try to pick up the keywords out of it. So if you see and analyze the question, there are a couple of keywords: containerized web application, which is being hosted on Amazon ECS. Then the another thing you will see is minimizing the cost and scaling out the container. So if you see, there are 3 things. First, he wants to minimize the cost. He's running on ECS. And the last important thing you will see is the which routing solution. Okay. So these are the 3 keywords you can pick up in the solution. And then with this 3 keywords, now try to map these 3 keywords across the 4 options. So if I am really going to the exam, first I would say routing solutions. So routing solutions, we are talking about the ECS, not the domain service. So automatically you will discard question, I mean, in the option C and D, because you're talking about purely from Route 53 strategy. This, when you say routing, and again, they are routing to the ECS task, which is around application load balancer. So as a 50-50, that KBC thing, 50-50, you have striked out. You're left with 2 options now, option A and option B. There you have to go back that, okay, now what they're saying is it should increase and it should decrease. So it's not a fixed path based what they're talking about. It's a port based, right? So there you see the last line, which routing solution distribute the load to multiple of task. So there the right answer will go around option B. So try to do in this fashion. First, understand the questions, understand the keywords. And again, I'll tell you, this question, similar question can be asked in a different form also. Like it can be more secured. They can remove the word like cost effective. They can also change it to path based. So you might see the same question, but in a different form or shape with a similar option. So be very sure that you follow the questions, pick up the keywords and take those keywords and apply to the options. And then you can eliminate that strategy. What we had, you eliminate the options out of it and take the keywords, and you will see 2 of them or 3 of them, and you can do it. Again, read the questions very well. Most of the time they also have multi-choice. Again, the Pearson software is very good. I can give you one shortcut, hopefully. The Pearson software is very smart, so even if you select more or less, it won't allow you to move on. So that's a trick for you, but please have sense, have too much
Smart.
of too much of coffees before. Don't study late night. And if you're having an exam early morning, don't study too much of late night that you're pretty sleepy in the exam itself, right? So that's one. I'll pass it on to the second question to Rohini.
Ooh, longer one, like a longer
Sorry, I
question.
didn't do
Okay,
it
so let's read
intentionally.
the. Then I'm just interested. So let's read the question. The usage of a company's image processing application is increasing suddenly with no set pattern. So there's no pattern, there's sudden increase in whatever application they've been working on. Cool. The application's processing time grows linearly, so linearly with the size of the image. Now, the processing can take up to 20 minutes for larger image files. Okay. The architecture consists of a web tier, an Amazon Simple Queue Service or SQS standard queue, and the message consumers that process these images on EC2 instances. Okay, so there is a web tier with SQS and EC2. When a high volume of requests occur, the message backlog in SQS increases, obviously. Users are reporting the delays in processing. A solutions architect must improve the performance of the application in compliance with cloud best practices. Fine. So we want to improve the performance, and which solution will meet these requirements. So what are the requirements? First of all, what is happening right now? The processing can take up to 20 minutes for larger image files. That's fine, but right now we want to focus on the performance. And what is happening? There is an SQS queue, so there is a buffer where all the requests are coming in, but the consumers is on EC2 instances. Okay, so whenever there is a lot of SQS messages, there are a set of EC2 instances, and how we can improve the processing. Okay, so first option is purchase enough dedicated instances to meet the peak demand, deploy the instances for consumers. I mean, okay, convert the existing SQS standard queue to SQS FIFO queue, increase the visibility timeout, configure a scalable Lambda function as the consumer possible, okay, and create a message consumer that is auto scaling group of instances. Configure the auto scaling group to scale based upon appropriate number of messages and CloudWatch metric. Okay, so the first option, obviously, dedicated instances. You don't need it. You're using EC2 in a shared environment, and which is good enough for the kind of application of image processing. So A is gone. B is converting SQS from standard to FIFO. I mean, it doesn't matter really, because right now the problem is that there's a lot more requests and we need a lot more processing, and it's not saying that the first one who applied is angry and the last one is not, right? So there is no first in first out issue here. So B is out. C is configure Lambda function. So now Lambda could be a good option, right? Because if you're processing with Lambda, you can just, you know, as you want, you can scale, let the messages come in, and Lambda will start concurrent Lambda functions and it will process it. But remember, there's one point where it's saying it can take up to 20 minutes for a large image files. And we know Lambda has a limitation of 15 minutes of processing time. So that's why option C is out of this picture. Otherwise, you would have taken C and D, but then you also have to realize why there are two different options here. And of course, D makes sense because you can have custom metrics with CloudWatch, and they can look at if there are a lot more messages in your SQS queue, your auto scaling will start adding more instances. If the queue is getting smaller, you can also cut down your instances. So that's the option D. So like Sanchit and I mentioned, first read the question. What is it? What is the use case that you're looking at? What are the things that they're asking for? Here they're asking for performance, and they are asking for how you can make it scalable. While they have not mentioned anywhere that we need it to be scalable, but you can see that they're setting up that story, right? That okay, it's suddenly increasing with no set pattern and the time keeps increasing. So it's a subtle way of telling you that we need performance improvement for scalability. So automatically you should start thinking about services that will help you with that scalability for processing power. So that's what it is. The option answer is D. Over to you, Sanjay.
Thank you, Rohini.
Okay, I guess
Madan.
I'll take the next one.
Yes, please.
All right, question 3. A company used Amazon EC2 spot instances for a demonstration that is now complete. A solutions architect must remove the spot instances to stop them from incurring cost. What should the solutions architect do to meet this requirement? So, if you look at the question, this is comparatively a smaller question compared to the other ones that we just saw. However, there is always a lot of fluff in the question, which means there's things that are there just to throw you off, and there are things that are there that are completely irrelevant, right? The couple of points that are relevant over here is the fact that we are talking about spot instances, right? And we are talking about stopping those spot instances from not costing you money, right? We This is not talking about sorry, somebody had a question. Okay, so this is not talking about scaling. This is not talking about different types of instances or anything like that, right? So it's pretty clear there in that question. So the answers: cancel the spot request only, terminate the spot instances only, and then the next two is a combination of both, which is cancel the spot as well as terminate the instance, or terminate the spot and cancel the spot, terminate the spot instance and then cancel the request. So as of now, you might know that when you want spot instances, you kind of have to place a spot instance request, right? And then you kind of get those instances. So the question here is, obviously, if you just terminate the instances, your spot request is still active, right? Which means it can then further spawn more instances, and you think you might have deleted it, but then later on when you come and look, they're still there because your request is still active. So what do you do? So the first one is cancel the spot request. Sure, you can cancel your request, but what happens to the ones that are already running? Because the question says that you're already done, the demonstration is now complete, so you no longer need them. So you should not keep them running anymore. So if you cancel the request, you still have the instances running. Then they're not going to go away. So the second one is terminate the spot instances only. So this is again the opposite of the other one, where you cancel the instances, but then the request is still active, so it might spawn new ones. And the third and the fourth one is just opposites, right? Whether you cancel the spot request first or whether you cancel the spot request afterwards. So the idea here is pretty simple. You don't want it to spawn new instances, because if you terminate an instance while your request is still active, it might spawn new instances, right? So you want to prevent the spawning itself first. So you will first cancel the request, right? And then of course whatever is remaining, you will go ahead and like terminate that. So think about it like that logically. And of course, like I said, there will be a lot of fluff in the question, and there are things that there might be answers for where there is nothing in the question as well. So just look at the main points of the question about spot instances, saving cost, as well as shutting down everything. So that's it.
Thanks, Faisal. Rohini, do you want to go next? A short one this time.
Okay. Uh, uh, so a company needs to look up configuration details about how a Linux-based Amazon EC2 instance was launched. Okay. Which command should a solutions architect run on this EC2 instance to gather the system metadata? So we all know there is a way of for you from within that EC2 instance, you can make an API call to the metadata service, and you can get a lot more information about that instance, right? And this is very helpful if you're trying to build certain scripts or you're trying to build an application that needs information such as what is my instance ID or what is my IP address, or a lot of other details about itself. So a little confusing, but let's eliminate. First of all, localhost, no, that is not going to work because localhost, if there is no metadata service running on your local host. So B is out. Even D, that is saying 192.168.0.1, your instance could have a private IP address that is part of your VPC. So having an IP address like this, which is a private IP space, wouldn't make sense, because then you can't access that IP space, right? So this doesn't work. So B and D is definitely out. Now they are playing with our minds, and that's why they've given us A and C, which look similar, which have the similar IP address digits 169, 254, 254, 169. A good way to remember this, or at least how I do it, I always remember it's small to big. So I always remember 169, then I go to 254, then I go to 169, 254. Or you could remember it as the last digit. Normally you would have 256, 256-ish IP addresses. So I always remember that the last one and the first one is always gone, and there is one more that goes for the subnet mask. So it's 254, which is left. So that's how I remember. It's 169, 254, 169, 254 slash latest slash metadata. So if you know your IP address spacing, it's a little bit easier to remember what would be the last digits, and that's how if it's 254 in the last, that's my friend, and that's the answer. Answer A. I hope that helps. Back to you, Sanjay.
Yep, I think that's the answer. Cool. So we move to the last question of our walkthrough, which is to Faisal, and the lucky winner is a big one.
You're punishing me because I got a small one in the last one, is it?
Not in my
Okay.
He's being fair.
Okay. All right. So a company has an on-premises application that exports. Okay, before even I read this question, it's a long question, so there is obviously going to be a lot of unnecessary information. So just keep that in mind as you're reading this, okay? So a company has an on-premises application that exports log files about users of a website. Okay, so we know that they're exporting the log files, okay, and they also have the application which is doing that. It's in on-premises, so it's not on AWS. So these two important points. These log files range from 20 to 30 gig in size. If you look at the answers, this size is not relevant. Okay, so yes, it's a large size. I mean, it's indicating that because the size is large, there might be some problem, but then that's not really an issue over here if you look at the answers. A solutions architect has a solutions architect has created an S3 bucket to store these files. So there is an S3 bucket. The files will be uploaded directly from the application. So from the application that is there on premises, it's directly getting uploaded into the S3 bucket. However, their network connection is experiencing some intermittent failures. So the idea here is that as they are uploading the files, the connection is failing, because of which they're having to maybe re-upload the same files again, or something is missing, files are broken or corrupt or something like that. Okay. And the upload fails sometimes. A solutions architect must design a solution that resolves this problem. The solution must minimize the operational overhead. Which solution will meet these requirements? So the key to this question, or the key to the answer here, is really the solution must minimize the operational overhead. A lot of questions you will see this particular scenario where you might actually have all three or all four answers that are perfectly fine. All four of them might be correct, but the idea is the least operational overhead, which means the least setup, the least maintenance, all of this that comes into the picture, right? So which solution meets these requirements? So enable S3 transfer acceleration. Well, if we do that, it will maybe increase the speed of transfer, but then we don't know what is the connection speed for the user. So maybe they might be on a 1 megabit or a 2 megabit really bad connection, and that's not really going to help them even if you do transfer acceleration, right? And the issue here isn't really that the files are taking time, but rather the connection is dropping. So having a transfer acceleration does not fix the issue. Copy the files to an EC2 instance in the closest AWS region. Use S3 lifecycle policies to copy the log files to S3. This might work, but there is still that issue of the connection, losing connectivity and all of that. So this doesn't really fix it. But if this was not a connection issue, if this was like a redundancy issue, then this answer is correct. Okay, there's nothing wrong with this answer. And the third one is use multi-part upload to S3. I'll come back to this. Let me just look at answer 4, which is upload files to 2 AWS regions simultaneously, enable two-way cross-region replication between 2 regions. Well, this might also work, but it doesn't really solve your main issue, right? Which is you're losing connectivity. So if we come back to the third one, which is multi-part upload, there is a specific feature of multi-part upload, right? Which is where you're breaking files into smaller chunks and then you're uploading it. And each chunk has like a chunk number to it, so to speak, like a ID to each of that, right? So let's say that you're uploading the files and the connection gets interrupted. Let's say your one file was divided into 100 chunks, then if 50 chunks got uploaded and then 50 is remaining, right? You can continue to do that when you have multi-part upload enabled, because then once all of those files get up, all of those parts get uploaded, then you can kind of compile that into a single file. So this solves that main problem, which is that their connection is getting interrupted, because of which they're having to re-upload the files. In multi-part upload, you don't have to like re-upload the files. You can just continue uploading the remaining parts which missed out, instead of having to redo the whole thing. So that's the reason, the answer C is correct over here. Was that our last question, Sanjit?
Yep. So, yep, I think we're done with the question walkthrough, and just want to, before we go to the interesting one, the winner section, just want to make a quick announcement. So I think there are a couple of folks who have a question that we have not have registered to the boot camp and we have won the quiz. I would request everyone to please register with the same name which you have used for cohort. I'll be just sharing the link in the chat in a few minutes. This is the same form which we had for bootcamp register. Use the same name for code, so we'll match, and with the email ID, we'll ship your goodies to you. Okay. So that's for all the winners of the quiz. We have the data, and I'll just share the link. With that, we are here to announce the winners, which we have promised from last 14 sessions, and I'll give it on to Faisal to make that announcement. Yep, Faisal, over to you.
I thought you were the one who's going to have the honor of announcing everyone. All right, that's fine. Do you want to go to the next screen? This is for our winners for the AWS credits. Now you're winning this because either you have participated in our sessions, which included labs or assignments, and also you have been an active contributor. You have actively been engaging with us in the chat. So a big round of applause to all three winners, which is Sridhar and Soumya and Yogeshwaran. So I hope all three of you are in the chat. Are you all in the chat? Please raise your hands if you are. Are you all there in the chat
Say
today?
hello if you're in the chat.
Yeah, Rohini gave it away, is what Sri is saying, that he's already won.
What? What?
All right.
Okay.
All right. So these are our credit winners. Sanjit, do you want to take the next list of winners?
Sure. So, yep, I'll go
Yes,
to
we.
the next page. The next one is the big one. These are the winners for AWS Solution Architect Associate Certification vouchers. We have the three winners. Here are the three winners: Dora
Woohoo!
Chaudhary, Harish Gunashekaran, and Ramakrishna. Congratulations
I see
to
those.
three of the
I
winners.
see those names.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for actively participating throughout the sessions, making it interactive, asking the right questions, and hope the certification vouchers help you to get certification with along the material what we have provided, right? And again, for both the winners, the winners for AWS credits as well as the winners for the certification vouchers, we have the details of yours. We'll share all the required details for the stuff by mid of next week. So congratulations to all the winners of the quiz, the winners for AWS credits, and the winners for the certification vouchers. With that, we are on the verge to wrap our bootcamp. Just want to invite a couple of more folks. So Faisal and I mostly were driving around from the front seat you can think of, but there are a few other people whom I want to really appreciate for putting out all the hard works, all the kind of promotion in the backstage, helping us to design, promote, and make this a really interesting bootcamp. So I want to invite all the people. Just give me 1 second. So these are the true team, I would say. These are the people who are helping us. So guys, can you come on cam, please?
All right. Are the names not displaying, Sanchit?
Yeah,
I
it's
think
this.
it's the layout.
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay. So everyone, like Sanchit was saying, you might have seen us two mostly in the foreground, but there are obviously a lot of people working in the background and to make this bootcamp possible. So first of all, I want to thank Abhishek Wag, who's actually the AWS user group Nasik lead. He's also a senior software engineer at Confab Technologies. Then we have, so say hi, Abhishek. Are you there on the screen?
No, I think he's not here today. Yeah.
Audio? No, I think he's there on cam at the bottom, right? The last one? No?
No, no.
Okay. All right. And then we have Prithviraj Singh Solanki, who's also the user group indoor lead. He's also a cloud support engineer at AWS. Are you here, Prithviraj?
Yeah, actually, I'm cloud support associate. Thanks.
Associate engineer, all the same, different
Yeah.
labels. All right. And we then have Saurav Raghuvanshi, who's also the Dehradun user group lead. And is actually a student at UPES. Are you here, Saurav?
No, Saurabh, I think he's just bit on some other stuff. Yeah.
All right. And then we have Yashasvi Tiwari, who's a committee member at the AWS, community member at the AWS user group Dehradun. And she's also from the UPS College, University. Hey,
Yeah.
Yashasvi, say hi.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
All right. And we have Pratik Vishwakarma, who's the co-organizer at the Indore user group, who's a student at Acropolis Institute of Technology, Indore. Are you here?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. It looks almost like a photograph because you're not moving. All right. And finally, we have
Aryan.
Aryan Diopa, who's a community member at the Dehradun user group, who's also a student at UPS. Are you here, Aryan?
Yes, sir. Hello.
All right. All right, everyone. So thank you for, working really hard in the background, sending out all the promotional emails, creating those posters for our events, scheduling the events. Without you, it wouldn't have been possible to make this event what it is today. So once again, thank you very, very much for being, our supporting staff behind. And once again, everyone, just a round of applause for all of the people behind the scene. All right, Sanchit, over to you.
Also, I think just want to call out, we do have some surprises for our best contributor from the organizer team also. So there is something waiting for you in the backstage for the kind of hard work what you guys have done. So that we'll discuss it offline. But yes, we also have do some more winners in this current screen too. So with that, I'll just bring up my screen. So yeah, with that, I think we are calling a wrap for our boot camp. Thank you so much. I think all the participants, you have been really amazing. The kind of questions, the kind of engagement you had for all the speakers. This is the feedback what I've got from all of the speakers, including Rohini, that you were really good, really motivated and passionate to go through and crack the certification. I hope you guys do that. And yeah, please don't forget, tag us once you get your certification. So we'll be happy and pleased to enjoy your achievement. And as well as I want to thank everyone, Rohini, the AWS team, as well as all the organizers, as well as the user group Dehradun, Hyderabad, Indore, Nasik, Rajkot, and Ranchi for supporting us, for helping us, and promoting the event as far as possible. Last but not the least, we have Faisal, who was there guiding us, helping us throughout the thing. This is how you should do it. This is how you should not do it. Supporting us at each and every stage, whether it's speaker or whether it's helping us. Okay, no, this is my past experience has been so, Faisal. I think it was really amazing working with you. And yeah, thank you so much. We'll be working out something, and hopefully we'll are back with something, a new version or new edition of this. Thank you so much.
I have to say thank you to all of you because this is amazing and this is a really successful execution with so many different user groups coming together and doing something awesome for all the community. I know certifications is a very big topic for the entire community and we definitely want to help people. I love the way you all have been dedicated for last so many weeks. Actually, we've seen the plans and there were so many weeks that you've been working on the content, not just presenting, also doing a lot of work in the back end. So congratulations and thank you so much. I know even in AWS internally we talk a lot about this, and there's a lot of appreciation for all the hard work you've been doing. So thank you so much to all the organizers and for awesome people who have been staying from day one till now. And hopefully, if you do your certifications, book in your certifications because until you have an exam coming up, most of us don't study. So book your certifications, get certified, and tag all of us on LinkedIn, and we'll definitely be your cheering team on this side of the channel. So thank you for having me as well. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to connect with a lot of you. And with that, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.